My notes. It's showtime! Spectrum DX6 and the UMX Turbo Timber. I'm going to delete a model. Turn on the transmitter. Scroll wheel once. Scroll down till I find Utility. It's not on this particular page. I'm going to back out. And I'm going to look for System Setup. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to look for Utility again. Model Utilities. I'm going to delete a model. Model 3 Acro is what I want to delete.
Knife edge mode.
The latest firmware always has issues. All my switches should be in the up fashion. I'm going to hold the scroll wheel and turn on my transmitter. It gets me into the system setup. I want to go to Model Select, OK, Add New Model, OK, by pressing the scroll wheel and confirming to create. My model type is going to be an Acro. I hit OK. I choose the airplane, hit OK, and I confirm by scrolling and hitting OK. The model name, later on, you'll change the Acro to whatever name you desire for your turbo timber. The aircraft type, you're going to hit OK. You're going to go to wing by scrolling down, hit OK, and looking for one ail and one flap. Hit OK. The tail is going to be normal. When we back out, everything will be set. Leave all settings at the default values. According to the instructions, we are set up. Going back over, set servo travel to 100%. Let's back out. Let's look at the servo setup. All 100%. The travel. Let's go to the F mode. The F mode may be back in the other setting. I do apologize if I'm going back and forth. System setup, yes, and let's look for F mode setup. It kind of says switch 1 inhibit and switch 2 inhibit. Enable flight mode 1, it's inhibit. I really don't have to do anything on these switches. Now, which is switch 1 and which is switch 2? That is the question. Most likely, that's going to be back here. That's your gear switch. And that is known as A, B, and so forth, C. I'm going to back out and go to channel assignment. Channel assignment, 1 is throttle, 2 is aileron, 3 is elevator, 4 is rudder. 5 is gear. The gear will have safe and AS3X. 6 is auxiliary 1 with flap. According to the instructions, that is correct. Let's back out, and what we're going to look for is the frame rate. As I scroll to the frame rate, it may be on the other page, the function page. Here it is right below pre-flight setup. Frame rate is 22 milliseconds. On the paperwork it's 22 MZ. The mode is DSMX. So be careful that there are typos out there. Let's back out and go to the function list by backing out again, pressing the scroll wheel once, and we're looking for timer. Timer is right below range test. Press it. The timer should be set for 6 minutes and not 5 minutes. This all depends on your battery you're using. If you're using a 280 mAh, you're going to want 6 minutes. But if you're using a Venom FlySky 430, you want to make that 10 minutes. Depending on your throttle, it's 25% over. You could have it a little less, a little higher, all up to you. Once you set up, back out. Let's look for the flap system, which is above a couple. Right here, above mixing. Select switch, and that's going to be switch D. Switch D is your flap. 0 is going to be 90%. Only time this will start to work is you go to inhibit, and there's switch D already set. What you're going to do is press OK. In the up position, away from everything, minus 90%. In the SPM file on Spectrum RC, it's at 90%. So when you're all the way down towards the bottom, that's the way it's going to be at standard. And when you're at this position, it's going to be the opposite. Meaning, look at your flaps. Press the scroll wheel. Go to the negative 90 by the left. The bottom flap is also going to change to 90. When you hit 90, you are set up. It doesn't tell you to adjust elevator, but if you want to put some percentage to the elevator that raises or lowers, you can do so. On the flaps itself, it doesn't say anything about speed. Speed is normal. We'll get to that in a few seconds. Position 1 is the center. That'll be at 0%. Position 2 is going to be at 90%. Scroll wheel over to the flap 5 times, about 4 or 5 times. Press it once. Do apologize if I accidentally hit the OK, and continue till you do 90%. We are at 90% on switch D, and the speed is normal. Press it once, and you can see it goes up in points. Let's go the opposite way, and it doesn't do anything. So we want to go a minimum of 1 second. If you are set up with the actual SPM, it's at 2 seconds. I'm going to leave mine at 2 seconds. Everybody can do things differently. According to the manual, the only thing you need to do now is go into your dual rates. Let's back out. Dual rates is on the top of the function list. Do apologize if I went the wrong way. Press it once, and the dual rates are for aileron, elevator, and rudder. You have dual rate and expo. There are two types of dual rates there. So the first one you're going to assign to a switch. You can have a 1 switch or a 2 switch. I'm going to do switch F. And I'm going to basically scroll down to the switch. As I do switch F in the I position, or if I use a scroll wheel, I'll change. So I want to make sure I hit OK. And I want to go to my dual rates, and I want to go 70% according to the instruction, low and high. So I set 70% on I. When I go into the 0, I'm at 100%. So right now we keep it down towards me, and we now go highlight to the rudder and go elevator. Do the same thing, throw the switch, bring it back down, OK, and bring it to 70%. Now we do the last one. Hit OK. Make a mistake here and there. Aileron. Go down to switch. OK. Highlight. OK. 70%. Now we're all set up. There are curves. There are expo. Some people put 15% expo to throw that curve. You can do whatever you like. Now, let's back out because we're all done. And the only thing we need to do, and we need to understand real clearly, is to enable and disable safe. Select technology. Use the following steps. And please understand when I do this. You hold the switches in down, both, and away. You only do the gear, which is the index I'm pointing at. You switch it 5 times. It doesn't matter which direction, as long as you go 5 times. And I got to tighten up my switch, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that 5th, 5 right here, is going to get both flaps to get 3 consecutive movements. And that will be safe off. I want to talk a little bit more about safe and AS3X. With the switch away in the O position, out of the box, your safe is in the on position and can be turned off by bringing it to the I position. You don't need to do the out away and 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you do the disabled safe, when you have it in the O position, safe will not be on. It'll be off altogether. Out of the box is on, and when you put it to the I, it goes in the off position. You cannot again shut off AS3X. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say to you. That is, if you want to keep it off altogether, that's what you do. And if you want to have it on and turn it off by the switch, leave it as is. If you take the time to read the instructions, I believe this will get you up and going. I'm all set up. I'm going to go bind this to my aircraft, and I am going to give this safe a try. I've taken my time, explained to you all the details about setup. I'm going to now hook up my aircraft. I don't like the short cable that is given. I want to make sure that red stays to the red side. I'm going to try my best to get my hands in here. Oh man, that scared me because I saw like a white light come shooting out. I need to get myself some Velcro. Plenty of room for that battery, but not plenty of room for that short cable. Binding is as simple as two ways of doing it. Turning on your aircraft, going to the bind, or holding down the eye, turning on your transmitter.
Binding. DX6
Very difficult for you to hear. It is quite normal for the aircraft to make noise for the servo. If you read the instructions, it clearly says that. I'm in the picture now, thank you. I am going to now go check out my throttle. According to the SPM file on Spectrum RC, the H was throttle cutoff. On here it's not. So what you do now to get throttle cutoff on the H switch, you go into the transmitter, scroll down in the function to throttle cutoff, and what you do is you go to inhibit and you press it once and you locate the H switch, and that's it. Back out, now away and towards you. Throttle no longer goes off. Let's do the rudder, let's do the elevator, let's do the airline. All good. Do the flaps as you saw. 2-second delay all the way down. Some people may want that a little faster. That's all up to you. Now, safe technology is on the gear back here. And in order to show you the gear switch, I do apologize. You just do the scroll wheel till you hit the monitor. Gear is over here. And you hear the gear changing things. It's giving some of the elevator movement. If I take my plane and I gave it throttle, they say up to 50%, so I'm holding the plane. That's got power. And now you can see safe technology is off and safe is on. Off, on, off, on. If I want to disable safe technology, I pull down and away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. safe technology was on when I did that. Pull the switch away. Safe technology is off. All I got on now is AS3X. I go a straight line. I don't have to hold anything. That safe technology keeps my plane from doing expert rolls. It's like a beginner's mode. I now come back down. I don't want it. I need to do the sticks. But let's go a different route. Let's unplug. 5 seconds goes by. And replug. Let's give it, it's set to go. Let's give it 50% throttle. Now let's see if safe technology is there. It's not there. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there it is. So now we are 100% in the on position. We want to shut our plane down. We want to save all our controls. And we are 100% set up with the DX6. This video, my notes, hoping it will help you out there understand. I'm going to try to find my mistakes and correct them. I may go the step of downloading the SPM file, if I made a mistake naming that, load it in, and then just reversing the flaps that are on there. And everything will be set up according to how Horizon Hobby made that mistake by doing it their way. I hope this video again was helpful to one and all. I do apologize for making it very long when it was a 1 minute setup. Took really no time to set the transmitter up at all, but it took all this time to make the video and explain it to you. On that note, thank you very much for joining me. I'm ready to get out there and go give my maiden flight. Have a great day, everybody.